Lead generation. We know it's important, but it's hard to know what strategy is right for your business amidst the sea of gurus and funnels being taught out there. You need a strategy that fits your unique business and your customers and your offer. That's exactly what I'm going to show you today. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a custom lead generation strategy for your business. And at the end of the video, I will show you an advanced strategy for leveraging your custom audience. Now, your goal with a lead generation strategy is to get a lot of qualified leads. One of the most common mistakes that I see people make is they see somebody who taught a specific lead generation strategy, and then they go try and replicate that exact strategy for their business without taking into consideration that that person's audience was completely different than theirs. So my first recommendation is that you don't follow a template. Think of your customer journey and your lead generation strategy as an experience. What is the experience that my potential customer needs to have in order to become a paying customer? There are a couple questions to ask yourself. One, would my audience participate in this? Would they come to my live webinar? Would they actually participate in my challenge? Would they watch my video series? The second thing to take into consideration is, does this attract my buyers? For example, if you take someone through a lead generation strategy of a challenge, and there is 5 days and all these steps and all of this information, at the end of it, you're going to have overwhelmed people, and they most likely won't be ready or willing to buy your offer. So your lead generation strategy has to very strategically set people up to become your buyer. That means you have to think through, what are the things they need to know? What are things I can do to get them ready? I recommend actually interviewing your ideal customer. Your goal as an entrepreneur, as a marketer, should be to know your ideal customer better than they know themselves. So you can create that experience, you can create that messaging that attracts them better than any other company out there. Some things to take into consideration are they beginning business owners? Do they have a lot of time? Are they willing to trade time for money? Are they more advanced business owners? How do you solve their number one problem, their struggle within your lead generation strategy? If you're targeting consumers, they often need extra touch points to be able to trust your brand enough to buy from you. So work those into your lead generation strategy. That could look like some extra videos that you have before your webinar. That could look like showcasing testimonials or authority building content within your lead generation. This is also where tying in your brand awareness with your lead generation can be very impactful. And I have a whole other video about how to do that and how to set those ads up. Before I get into the next tip, do me a favor and hit the like button. It really helps the channel out. Another detail to look at is how much nurturing needs to happen before you actually sell your offer. For example, if you're trying to sell clients into a very high-end service, you might need a lot of nurturing, a lot of touch points. They might need to see a video of yours and then sign up for a webinar and then be in an email sequence and then be pitched your offer. Or if you're selling a low-price digital product for $300 or less, they might not need very many touch points before they will become a buyer. So determining how many steps are in your lead generation strategy should be dependent on how much nurturing your lead needs, which is dependent on how much your offer is, how much of a barrier to entry it is to buy that offer. The reason I'm putting so much emphasis on that experience you're creating and taking into consideration your audience is because it doesn't matter how much warm audience you have, how much crazy strategic targeting you're doing. If this foundation is not in place, nothing will work. There are a couple of core lead generation strategies that almost always work, but within them, you can create details and customizations for your audience. One of them is webinars. Webinars are great for selling digital products ranging from $300 to $2,000. They're also great for getting applications and sales calls if you sell a high ticket service or product. It used to be done in person. Now we can do online webinars. It's a great way to bring leads in, have them build a relationship with you, and then pitch them your offer. However, details like how long that webinar is, what the topic of that webinar is, should be customized to your audience. If you target really busy moms, they're not going to sit through a 90-minute webinar. But if you target a business owner who wants a lot of detail, they might sit through a 90-minute webinar. If you're getting traffic to a website or have people watching your videos or engaging with your social media, you have a warm audience that you can actually target in your lead generation. I created a whole video on how to set up ads to grow that audience, which you can reference below, but I'm gonna now show you how to create that audience in Facebook so you can then target target them to your lead generation strategy. Within your ads manager, you'll come over here and click this business tools button. From there, you'll scroll down and you'll select audiences. Once you're on the audience page, you'll press create audience, custom audience. Now this gives you several different options. The main ones I'm gonna focus on are website, video, Instagram account, and Facebook page. We're gonna select video, and from there we'll press next and select the content type. You have many different options here of the length of video you want to create this audience from. People who viewed 3 seconds all the way to 95% of your videos. I recommend doing at least 25% of your videos because anybody who watched less than that is not really as engaged in quality of an audience. Once you select that, you'll choose videos. You can either choose one video or all the videos on your Facebook page. I recommend having an audience of all of your content videos on Facebook who've watched 25%. You can also have specific videos. So let's say you do one specific really good Facebook Live, you put budget behind it, then you can create an audience of the people who watched 25% or more of that specific video. Once you have this pulled up, you can come through and it'll show all your Facebook page videos and you are able to select which ones you want to put in this audience. You'll select the video and press confirm. The next piece is the retention. That's the number of days you want Facebook to go back and pull the audience. The maximum you can do is 365 days. I typically leave it at that because that is a valuable audience. Then you name your audience and press create. Facebook will then generate and populate that audience. It usually takes a few hours to fully populate, and once it does, you'll be able to see that audience size. Now, I recommend getting that audience up to at least 1,000 in size before using it as a retargeted ad. The smaller the audience, the faster you'll spend that budget and the ad will become ineffective. If your audience is below 1,000 in size, you can increase the size of that audience by getting more views on those videos or video that you just selected. Another quality audience is your website audience, and you can get very creative and strategic with this. You can either do an audience of anybody who's visited your website, or you can do specific pages such as your podcast or your blog. When you go to create this audience, you'll be able to select how recent they went to your website. I recommend actually having an audience who visited your website in the last 180 days, as well as the last 30 days or even 14 days if you have a lot of traffic, because that will be a very hot targeted audience of people who just went to your website and now you can show them a strategic ad. Once you create these warm audiences, you'll have warm audiences to pull from as well as cold traffic audiences. I recommend having both and spending about 80% of your budget on cold traffic for your lead generation and that 20%, depending on the size, to your warm traffic. Once you've determined your lead generation experience and what offer you actually want to send people to, the next step is to determine what audiences you're going to target to that lead generation strategy. If you want to build a funnel with me, click on this playlist where I'm going to walk you through every step of creating the ads and the strategy and the exact process I've used to generate over 105 million in revenue to date with my clients. Or click on this video that I think you might like also.